first thing we'll look at is class, first and foremost.
Yeah.
So it depends on the class of the board applying for the slice of that cake and in what way you apply for that. And I'll tell you why. When I first came into this sector and I was applying for funding, I was applying with, I'm in the community, I know what I'm doing, this is what it is. And you'll get some money, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you change your approach and apply for the money, like, look, this is what we've done, this is how much we want. Just the narrative is different. Not, could I have some? This is how much we want. You get a different response.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you're mentioning Red Thread and other organizations like that, you need to visit the board of Red Thread to understand the culture of Red Thread and why it operates and mobilizes the way it does. The people that sit on the board of organizations like that are wealthy businessmen and women that are looking at a vehicle differently to the average person within the community that has given up their job or come out of retirement to try and help what they will call their village, to reduce the crime in the village, to keep the neighbors safe. It's a different mindset to someone that's going to approach this with a corporate aggressive mindset, as if we're demanding this, no one's going to tell us that we're not taking this. It's a total different mindset when you're actually doing something out of love, to the person that is looking at, okay, this is what we could do for that, number crunching. And that brings us right back to why the grassroots organizations in the community were wiped out, because those larger companies, they could have a surplus of millions to tide them over until their invoice is paid to pay their staff. So they will always win these contracts, because also some of these contracts, you have to show how much your turnover is.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the grassroots organization, sad to say, they've not learned how could I put this politely, not just do things for the love of it, where you need to be registered, make sure all the filing is done and everything else. And that's where I think a lot of the organizations lose out, because when they want to see your filing history, there might be none or little to none. And because of that, you're now put in the back of the race where someone's had 15 years filing history and they've got a surplus of 20 or something million put down in the bank, plus their assets are worth however much. So the liability of giving them that money is going to be small to the organization that really wants to do things for the people and actually know the people and will actually do the work. They're then always going to be put at the back burner. And that is the sad thing, what happens in the community. And this is why when I joined the Garvey Village management team, that was one of the first things I said. We have to upskill the community. We have to make sure everyone has financial literacy, because if not, we're going to continue facing the problem that we've been facing for years. And it's about mobilizing. As you said, come together as a consortium. Makes you stronger. If I've got 10 years filing, you've only got 5 together, we got 15 years filing. And it's about people understanding when you come together as one, you can move forward. The same thing we're trying to do here now, for people to understand, look, what we've been doing before ain't been working. Let's mobilize and get back to how things were before, how it was before. Because before, we wouldn't have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because if we did, people like Diane Abbott and Bernie Grant would not have got in. So why has the conversation changed? And it's for people to understand where they've lost their way. Instead of voting for symbols and looking at symbols, look at the person, check the person's track record. And could you actually hold that person accountable? No, you can't. And that's what we need to look at in the community. Why is this happening? Because of us, not them.
Absolutely.
Because we continue to do the same thing. So we keep getting the same treatment. So if you do the same thing again on May the 6th, don't complain on May the 7th or on the night of May the 6th that you're getting treated the same, because it's the same people. What they've done is invited their cousins or their friends in that have played the game. You understand? Yeah. So that's all it is. It's like a big wheel, and who gets a turn to drive the car. So you've been good, you've played the game, you've kept quiet. We're going to nominate you. You come and you have a turn to drive the car, maybe press the horn as we're going around the corner, but you're not going to do any more than that, because that's as far as you're allowed to go. And that's what we're trying to show here, is that, look, we understand the system, but unless we stand together, we're not going to get change.